haven't seen too many people scream at the top of their lungs how much they love AI, unless they're using it to sell a course or cheat on their homework. One of the things I don't like about AI is the fact that some of them are allegedly trained on unknowing individuals and there aren't, making it hard for creators to keep up with ever-changing algorithms that are also artificially intelligent. But AI can be a useful tool. I'll admit, I don't always want to think, nor do I know everything. I've asked AI questions like, these are my interests and this is my degree, what long-term careers would be a good fit for me? Or, this is what I need to get done today, create me a schedule, now.
I don't really get all the hate for AI. I think AI is awesome. I think it's great. I love all the funny videos that people make with it. People could never recreate the things that AI is doing. If you hate AI, I think you're just a loser.
I've definitely cackled at my fair share of AI videos. My Zoomer brain has also been hoodwinked by AI videos. People can be so pretentious when you're caught enjoying something that's AI. Like, haha, look at this ignoramus. He thought this realistic looking thing was realistic.
It's so easy to make fun of people who chronically use generative AI. I feel like Gen X has been so in favor of it, which really pisses me off. The other day, my dad sent me a video of me in another country that I've never been in before, walking down the streets of like Egypt or something in an outfit I don't own. And I'm like, Dad, you really need to stop putting my pictures into AI generators. Like, what the fuck? Who are you giving my likeness to? But I start to feel something flutter inside, this kind of like pitiful empathy, because then I start to realize that Gen X loves AI because it's the first technology that they don't need real skills to be able to use successfully. When the internet started popping off, like a lot of the older generations like were getting left behind because you needed real skill and training to be able to use things like Adobe softwares and like coding and all that. Like that's not something that you could just like learn on the fly. That's something that you really have to invest in, and a lot of them were not ready. Like they got left behind that wave. So then when generative AI came in, they're like, oh my god, I can make all that cool stuff that I didn't know how to do before, like by just like entering a prompt. And I still don't like it that y'all use it, but something happens to me when I start to think about why.
I see where she's coming from. It's hard to explain, but there's a not so good feeling I get from watching loved ones be infatuated by technology, whether it be doom scrolling, having the news on 24/7, or generating AI prompts. In my experience with older generations, some of them feel so lost in the modern world. The way that they feel after being able to operate something as powerful and complex as generative AI is probably comparable to how Tom Brady felt in Super Bowl LI.
I love AI. I'm so sorry. I love AI and I love ChatGPT, and I know everybody hates AI and for good reasons, but hear me out. Being in your early 20s and trying to figure out adulthood, coming out of the pandemic and having crippling social skills and then immediately being expected to adult, pay bills, apply for jobs, write professional emails, cook, just be disciplined, have kind of like this organized lifestyle, all while pretending that you know what you're doing. Yeah, no, AI makes everything less scary for me. Like instead of asking people and looking stupid, I can literally just type, how do I word this email to my professor, or what's the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k? And it instantly gives me those answers. It saves me from all that awkward trial and error. And honestly, it feels like a cheat code to adulthood. Not to mention, now being a college student, I can literally put in my syllabus, all of my work, textbooks into ChatGPT, and it literally gives me an organized list of everything that I need to get done. Like it helps me balance everything without burning me out. And it's honestly the best.
This is a whole video in itself, but the panoramic did irreversible damage to Gen Z. It's like we all turned our brains off as we whimpered in fear and watched the number of people dying ascend every single day. Conspiracies seemed to be coming true. It felt like prophecies were being fulfilled and civil unrest was rampant. Then we regained consciousness and it's impossible to date, make friends, make money, have an attention span. Everything just feels more difficult. And on top of that, you're several years older living a completely different life. And this is if you're lucky. A lot of people lost loved ones or didn't even make it this far. Using AI as a crutch within reason can be exceedingly helpful. To be honest, she just gave us the method. Now, for those of y'all using AI as a therapist, I feel where you're coming from, and I understand the desire to vent uninterrupted, but get professional help if possible. A lot of our schools and cities have resources around us such as counseling, water, food, and shelter. And if your areas don't have this, make sure you're voting locally, at the least.
But if your main gripe with AI is that it's bad for the environment, you are performative. If we look at Gemini's website, we can see that they report that they use about 0.26 milliliters of water a day. Okay, but maybe that's bias. That's coming from Gemini themselves. So let's look at a peer-reviewed article by Lee et al. But the key point is that we use about 500 milliliters of water for 10 to 50 responses on GPT-4, which is their newest and largest model. Now let's use science to compare. Do you eat meat? because this is a peer-reviewed article that establishes the amount of water we use on animal products. And would you look at that? For one singular hamburger patty, you're using over 15,000 liters of water. For one hamburger patty. I'm not gonna go through this entire list, but similarly, for one chicken breast, you use over 4,000 liters of water. Oh, but Callie, I don't eat meat, I'm a vegetarian. Don't even get me started on vegetables. I don't see y'all commenting about golf courses that take over 2 trillion liters of water a year. Protesting AI because it hurts the environment is the same phenomenon that happened in 2008 when people were protesting the use of single-use plastic straws. They did this because the fishing industry told them that this was the main cause of ocean pollution, when in reality, 47% of ocean pollution came from fishing nets. Phenomenons like this give the public a false sense of freedom, as it leads them to believe that their everyday choices can directly affect their environment, when in reality, environmental changes can only come from a much larger scale. So if you're mad about AI, you should be probably mad about how it's stealing from small businesses and local artists, or causing children to not critically think. Now, this isn't to say that AI and the building of data centers have other environmental implications, but it is solely to say that if your reason for hating AI is because of the water usage, you are quite literally just incorrect.
This creator makes some great points. I do agree that some of the AI hate is performative, but if you care about the environment, which you should, there are more effective ways to save the earth. That doesn't mean you should go write up 50 AI prompts just because, though.
It honestly makes me want to use AI.
I have been saying this for so long, but as soon as you say anything that's not anti-AI, people will jump on you and be like, oh, you like destroying the planet. Oh, you're just like lining billionaires' pockets. You need to stop and listen for a second. Is the increased use of AI and the building of new data centers bad for the environment? Yes. No one is arguing with that. The problem is, people think AI is the absolute worst thing that has ever happened on the planet. And it's all because it's this big thing that gets attention and gets people talking. You cannot be getting upset and saying, I hate AI because of data centers. You do know that other things exist in data centers too. It is not just for AI. If you've ever streamed anything, that's a data center. If you're on this app right now, data centers.
More often than not, we have to stop and think. I understand that this is a serious topic, but we have to attack problems and not people. AI does have a harmful effect on the environment. It can be used to spread misinformation and disinformation, will probably want to revolt against us one day, has a questionable moral compass, and no one really knows how it works. Not to be anti-intellectual, but the moral ambiguity on the advancement of artificial superintelligence being a good or bad thing has been the leading topic in dozens of conversations I've had. Even if none of that sends a shiver down your spine, AI definitely needs to be regulated. The YouTuber Tunari had an entertaining 13-minute rant about AI. His main points are that AI generally has no business in art, and he doesn't like that when you Google something, AI always has an overview when you just get that same answer from Googling normally. One way to get a Google answer with no AI is to put -AI at the end. He also made the joke that each AI overview is another 50 gallons of water wasted, which isn't true, but I'm not here to be the fun police, I know he's just joking. He also brings up that YouTube's AI is especially trash, which is fair because not all AI is made equal. I prefer Google Gemini's AI, which makes it even more disappointing how trash YouTube's AI is when YouTube is owned by Google. He brings up better ways AI could be used and says if you have to use artificial intelligence to be creative, then maybe you're just not creative. Another issue with YouTube's AI is that it's on a rampage with YouTubers that I watch, where it's demonetizing their channel and saying that it's misleading family content, even though they never marked their videos as made for kids. Just because someone talks about animation or animates themselves doesn't mean their video is for kids. Somehow Elsa Gate played a role in this. Generated AI slop is moderately irritating to me, but to most creators it seems aggressively irritating. I remember there was a time I was talking to my friend and I asked what kind of YouTube videos he likes, and when he told me, I played devil's advocate and told him that a lot of that is just AI generated slop. It was those videos that are like 30 minutes long and they post multiple videos a day explaining the different types of fill in the blank. I'm not going to act like some of these videos haven't caught my eye before, but the people behind these big faceless channels are literally printing cash, And then some of them will teach other people how to make soulless content in Money Max. And these courses they sell you can be summed up as find a channel and rip them off.
If you want to make unique thumbnails from scratch and you want to lock in the style, like these guys have a very consistent style in their thumbnails. What I like to do is I copy link address to the YouTube thumbnail I like. I go to
What I like to do is I copy it.
then I go to ChatGPT and I ask it to create a JSON prompt that will allow me to recreate this exact same YouTube thumbnail. So I can come here, I can paste that prompt in this box now and click create thumbnail. Wow, I mean,
It's like you did the work, but you didn't though. How to lift other people's thumbnails and script styles and shit for just $500. That's a good deal, no? 672 people have already fallen for this. I wouldn't mind AI taking over this dude's job. I wouldn't. Remember when I showed you that he has multiple channels? Here's another channel with Claude AI. Just copy me.
Inspiration channel to kind of steal video ideas from.
Oh my God! Since they care about numbers, printing money, analytics, line go up.
Listen, I've read the book Steal Like an Artist, but y'all are just stealing like ice cold capitalists. You clearly know a thing or two about business. Why must you try to get the monopoly on art? Let's do a quick tier list on some of these channels that I suspect lean on AI immensely. But I'm not accusing you of anything, I'm just saying, I'm suspicious, double hyphen, and that's real, fire emoji. In the S tier is Mythical Slop. This is where the AI that had the internet in a chokehold will go. Now of course, as you can see, we have Fruit Love Island. I did not personally watch Fruit Love Island, but commentary YouTubers that I do like to watch were seeming to make a lot of videos about this slop, which in turn means that the mythical slop affected me by proximity. A tier is for enjoyable slop. Now, this doesn't mean that I enjoy it, but it means I see why others do. This is where you have the videos such as Your Life as a Toilet Seat. In this case, we have Your Life as an Inbred Medieval Warrior. Of course, during the research of this video, I clicked on some of these channels to understand what was the hubbub. And for some reason, in the comment sections, it seemed like a lot of your guys' dads were down below correcting the AI's grammar and historically inaccurate images, as if it wasn't prompted by someone to just yap for the next 30 minutes. It's also funny when the viewers are in the comments like, I'm starting to think this might be AI. B tier is for the watchable slop, which means it's just a bit better than mediocre. Everything explained. Somehow, these guys all have stickman profile pictures and happen to know everything about everything while all having a similar animation style. Even I am not immune to falling victim to the allegedly AI-generated content. After watching Obsession, there were quite a few things that I didn't understand. So I clicked on the Everything Explained video and they explained things to me that I didn't understand. Next we have historical allegedly AI channels. This is watchable simply because I know a lot of people like history, but I suspect that these facts are actually fiction. And it does not take a rocket scientist to know that rewriting history is harmful. C tier is for mid-slop. This is where I put those little movie summaries you get when you scroll on YouTube Shorts that are summarized and narrated by artificial intelligence. D tier, bottom tier slop. This is actually a new one that was introduced to me by John Scully, but apparently people are using AI to write a script and voice over Minecraft gameplay. And this consists of hours of them making up sad stories so that their audience can relate to them. Seriously, just watch Jet Franzen. Also in D tier, everything AI generated that claims to have forbidden esoteric knowledge. These are clearly targeted at people who are like 45 and up, going through a midlife crisis, very religious, gullible, or all the above. They honestly make me sick because Gen Xers and Boomers grew up in a high trust society, so they're very susceptible to people who position themselves as authority figures. I also wanted to throw in those videos where Batman tells you how to get over your crush, start going to the gym, and self-improve. I will admit I have seen my fair share of those back in the day, but I didn't know any better. F tier, garbage slop, children's AI generated content. Honestly, YouTube needs to ban this expeditiously. Showing kids fast-paced, colorful imagery like this is mind-numbing. And yes, I'm judging you negatively if you use stuff like this to consistently sedate your children. All right, chat. This is the whiteboard. Make sure to study up. I'm going to be erasing soon. And it is morally questionable to knowingly produce and consume AI slop. I don't care how little water was used to generate BBL Zendaya. It was too much. I'm not mad at you for using AI as a tool, But if your video, idea, script, and thumbnail are all AI generated, you are not making art.
People who claim that AI is wrong because it uses water and is bad for the environment is kind of providing supporters of AI with a strawman argument that's easier to take down. AI using water is a problem, but it is not as big of a problem as a lot of people make it out to be. It should not be the defining problem that anti-AI people are arguing against. I believe that there are bigger problems with AI, like the fact that it diminishes art made by humans, and also that some of the models are trained off of stolen artwork and literature. And also the more broad issue of AI taking away our ability to think for ourselves slowly. And I think that those are the problems that are the main issues with AI, and that people who are anti-AI should be arguing against, not the water. The world would be a lot better if AI did not use as much water as it does, but that should not be the issue. I think that does not tackle the main principle of AI that is causing issues for a lot of people. It is much easier to tackle the argument of AI using water than it is to tackle the more broader issues at hand. So I think that the AI water argument should not be used in favor of those other ideas, because those are much more difficult to tackle.
Yeah, he said it well, but the thought of data centers wasting water being the least of our issues is very dystopian to think about.
AI is destroying the environment in 60 seconds. When you enter a prompt on ChatGPT, it goes through thousands of calculations to figure out the best possible answer. These calculations aren't run by a fairy, they're run in physical data centers. When your laptop heats up because you have too many tabs open, well, these data centers heat up because they're going through so many calculations. And to keep servers from overheating, we need water to cool the equipment. Water transports the heat generated by data centers into cooling towers to help it escape the building. Sort of like how you release sweat to keep cool. Depending on where the data center is based, it uses a different amount of water. If it's based in a warmer town, it uses a lot of water. If it's based in a town with not a lot of water, it uses electricity, like ACs. If your town uses a lot of electricity for AI, the electric bill goes up for everyone. And if your town uses a lot of water for AI, it means less water for you and for other things. In West Des Moines, Iowa, Microsoft's data center used 6% of the water in that town. And in Oregon, Google used 25% of the water in that town. ChatGPT uses this much water for a 100-word email. So stop using it, which is easier than you think. Because if AI stands for artificial intelligence, then who has real intelligence?
It's no secret that data centers use a lot of clean water. I'd prefer if they used dirty water, but unsurprisingly that would damage their parts. A problem with this is that data centers take water from local water supplies, and some of the bigger data centers can consume as much water as 50,000 people, which in turn means we could literally see towns run out of water. There also appears to be an increase in RAM prices and energy bills of homes that neighbor data centers. I'm sure there's no correlation. What if half the people on the internet were soulless bots trained to rage bait and engage with us just so the algorithm will push the content to more souls? Introducing the dead internet theory.
Every comment section is 60% bots that infiltrate the topic to manipulate the conversation. This is an actual statistic called the dead internet theory. Each bot account looks the same. A few followers, following a few thousand, AI or meme profile picture. They even go as far as using other bot accounts to like the bot comment to make people think that they're siding with the answer.
Even over half a decade ago, there was a conspiracy that half the content we were seeing was created by AI. But some studies have said that only about 50% of web traffic is human, and this number is going down every year. By the way, this was stated 4 years ago when AI generated videos looked like this. As far as we knew. Apparently, even YouTube was afraid that the algorithm would get overwhelmed by all the bots and not be able to decipher what was real. I'm not saying YouTube is doing this, but what happens when apps are swamped by bots and overestimate their web traffic to advertisers who pay the companies real money to get in front of real people? But who cares about big corporations getting screwed over by bigger corporations? That's just business, baby. To get to the top, you gotta step over who's in the way. My guess is you want to know how this affects you. Well, we already touched on it a bit before, but there are imposters among us. There are people, in quotations, training and commanding AI to look and sound human so they can extract money from the humans' pockets. And another can of worms to open is people creating deepfakes of real people to push an agenda.
Gym guy.
3.
Truck guy.
2.
Football guy. So number 1?
I hate this game. Can I get something big and spicy?
Come again?
Food. I meant fuck.
That character looks kind of real, yet uncanny. And even what she's saying, like, she's just blabbing. She's just saying stuff. And she has the AI accent where it almost like sounds blurry.
when she talks.
You bark for me?
Arf, arf, arf.
Good boy.
I know exactly what to do.
Then there's people making deepfakes of non-real people to catfish old guys and get them to send them all their money. Pillboy has an interesting video about the political implications of all this, but this is another reason AI needs to be regulated. What if you were to make a deepfake of the president saying something offensive? Then one side believes it, another agrees with it, and another sees that it's clearly a deepfake. Well, when the president does say something offensive, and this is all hypothetical, he would never do that. One side will be outraged, another will have plausible deniability, and another side may not care at all. And who knows if the people reacting are even real people? I know that we are in a hostile political climate, but with the heinous comments I've seen, you have to wonder how much of this is just bots being used to spew propaganda. There is also a subsection of this theory that believes the government is flooding platforms to push a narrative and control the masses, which couldn't be any more false. The government has never done anything sketchy like try to mind control people or weaponize propaganda. Sounds like a bunch of hoopla to me.
AI isn't coming for your job. Someone who can use AI is coming for your job, right? And also the way that things are trending right now, AI can't really do everything because that'd be more like agentic, right? Large language models essentially can be integrated into various tasks you do. And that's kind of what's going to be helping you, right? So I don't think that AI is going to come automatically replace a lot of the stuff that you do, but someone is going to be able to incorporate your job into theirs by using AI to do so. Essentially, it's just someone who can use it is going to take your job because they still need human guiding. They still need like editing. They still need data silos. They still need so much that it's not at the place where it will take your job yet.
AI is taking over U.S. jobs.
Why?
1.2 million jobs were lost last year in 2025 and 100,000 were lost in January 2026. And now huge companies have announced hundreds of thousands of predicted layoffs for this year. This is because their AI systems are improving and some companies are saying it's because of AI. So they don't need people anymore.
What's going to happen when everybody's unemployed?
AI CEOs were asked if this will create new jobs, but unfortunately, one of them said it should wipe out half of white-collar jobs and 20% of the job market, saying it'll likely do more harm than good, and he doesn't know why people aren't preparing for this or talking about it. He looked terrified the whole time he was giving his answer. And now Gen Z's worried because they're saying, what did I even go to college for that? Because a lot of these jobs are also entry-level jobs that AI is going to take.
Is there anything we can do about this?
Well, with the rising prices of living, as wages stay the same and now no jobs being available, no. However, prices are increasing faster than people can afford them, so something needs to be done about these jobs. However, Trump's lost more jobs in American history.
Wouldn't that theoretically cause a recession?
And apparently, since a lot of people already don't like AI, it's not nearly as profitable as these companies thought it would be. Since the intelligence of modern AI was overestimated, some of these companies are actually crawling back to workers that they laid off. I guess they gambled too hard on the AI projections. And it seems like some of these companies are overspending because they see other companies overspending. Since a lot of companies invest with money that they borrowed from the bank, it didn't take long for them to realize that digging themselves into a hole that reeks of sorrow and debt may not be worth it. And a lot of people who understand money and business more than I do say that the overspending on AI will make the bubble burst. Although some argue that in other countries like South Korea, the bubble has already burst. If the US keeps following in their footsteps, the world economy could be cooked, since most companies' economies rely on the well-being of America's economy. That sounds so narcissistic to say.
Microsoft canceling their Claude Code licensing may very well be the beginning of the end for the AI bubble as we know it. One being said behind closed doors is that Microsoft can't afford to use Claude, which is a big deal because we're talking about $1 trillion company that brings in a net profit of about $100 billion a year, and they can't afford to use this system. If they can't afford to use it, what happens when it stops getting subsidized and the public can't afford to use it? AI is still not profitable. It's producing more slop than it is actual good work. And companies that are using AI on the back end to code are more susceptible to being hacked. And now we're seeing Microsoft, of all companies, being unable to afford AI. If anyone tries to tell you that the AI bubble is not an AI bubble, just show them the new MIT article that shows that 95% of businesses who implemented generative AI pilots are failures. And then show them that the Google CEO recently said in an exclusive interview that their search engine is more accurate than their AI systems, and that you shouldn't trust these things blindly. And then show them that NVIDIA still hasn't paid OpenAI for their $100 billion deal because NVIDIA says that they wrote a letter to intend to pay, not an actual deal.
It should be noted that most stocks are in tech and artificial intelligence, and the majority of Americans own part of the stock market. I'm not trying to fearmonger, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that this could get ugly. Spend money you don't have until you owe so much money that you can't pay back. Ever. that can't be good. That when the AI bubble does burst, fingers crossed, it's not like it's just gonna stop working. It just means that companies won't be able to keep getting money to invest in it. Meaning that companies that can't stand on their own two legs without money from the bank will probably be squandered by the real, ethical, red-blooded, billionaire oligarch capitalists. So as you guys can probably tell, I am pretty anti-artificial intelligence. But to a degree, you know, it should be used within reason. Sometimes you're probably going to use AI to look something up, maybe make a funny meme of your friend from time to time. I don't want it to come across as though I'm sitting on the fence. I don't think this video was too overly persuasive, telling you, think this, you have to think this, you have to think that. I just laid the facts out on the table. I see AI as fire. We use fire to cook. We use fire to stay warm, for light to see. But fire, if not contained or monitored, and if too much fuel is added to it, it can grow destructive. The smoke is bad for the environment. The flames can damage the environment and ruin animals' habitats as well as ours. It can be destructive, but at the same time, it can be helpful. To say the person who smokes every day is as bad as the company or the business who pumps heaps of smoke and CO2 into the air every day is facetious. We know who's got the biggest carbon footprint. Thank you so much for tuning into my video and watching until the end. I hope you liked the video. I hope you hyped the video, because that helps get it pushed to more people like you. With that being said, Godspeed to all of you, and I will see you in the next video.
I remember as a child, a girl, a lamb, Papa smile. I feel a place where to